We have an older recording, but it tells you everything about backstabbing Kirsten Sinema and Alejandro Betrayorcas on their redirecting FEMA emergency funds for illegals. I'm John Mike Keene. Check this out. First, here's Mays on Twitter, May 2024. Sinema and Mayorkas discuss how to spend $650 million taken from FEMA in 2024 for immigrants. Apparently, it never occurred to anyone to say that hurricane season hasn't even arrived yet. Maybe we should make sure there's some money left for Americans. And if Arizonans want this, if you vote for Ruben Gallego instead of Kerry Lake, all this comes back to bite you. You know, these are illegals. They're going to be in their backyard. They're going to come after your children. Good luck. Good luck. Don't come crying to other people as you vote for this as a state because you've been taken over by California. Now, here's a document I have from the Congress of the United States. This is by Matt Gaetz. It says, my office has been in contact with whistleblowers in numerous emergency management functions on the federal, state, and local levels. They all point to the same critical mismanagement issues. FEMA has wasted taxpayer funds, misappropriated funds, and left other federal, state, and local responders without deployment orders on the ground. You know what? They've got a bunch of DEI hires, Department of Equity and Inclusion, over at FEMA. That's why they can't put the money on the ground. Here's Greg Price. FEMA whistleblowers have come forward alleging that the agency misappropriated funds in the wake of Helene, withheld pre-disaster aid, and that first responders and service members have been waiting in hotels without deployment orders. Here's a guy on the ground saying the same thing.
Are they still not there anywhere? What are you seeing from FEMA in the federal response, if any?
I mean, they're present. They're in the way. They are directly interrupting our ability to conduct missions and operations. And I'm not going to disparage anybody because we are trying to work within partner relationships, both government and non-government entities within state and federal and county.
As you know, Secretary, I helped secure $650 million in fiscal year 2024 for the CBP Shelter Services Program to limit the financial burden on local communities. I was pleased to see the notice of funding opportunity published last week that gave Arizona its fair share of the money available. As you know, this money has come quite late. We were just days away from Pima County ceasing all activities to process and manage migrants.
So they took it from FEMA to give to Pima. Very hard to follow. I only know Kerry Lake should be mopping the floor with these people's faces. Go to Ruben Gallego and ask him. How much money will you condemn right now, Mayorkas and Sinema, what they did in redirecting FEMA money designed for American emergency services to help proudly house illegals coming into the country? Will you condemn that right now, Ruben Gallego? He, of course, will not, or he'll lie to you. And Kerry Lake, this will help save your campaign.
So what steps is DHS going to take to ensure that additional funds are distributed and that we don't find ourselves in this critical situation in Pima County once again?
We announced with the first distribution last week, we also announced a competitive process for the second tranche of funds under the Shelter and Services Program.
Sinema isn't just saying thanks for the money. She goes, how are you going to make sure secure this money for the future so it doesn't happen again? How do we secure and make sure that FEMA money designed for Americans in distress during the weather events, how are we going to make sure that it stays in the pockets of illegals coming over to house them illegally? No wonder why she had to drop out of the Arizona race. We have to get Ruben Gallego to come clean on what he thinks, or he should drop out of the race.
We are going to receive applications for it from existing recipients, as well as those who are first-time applicants, and we are very focused on getting the dollars out the door as quickly as possible, as fairly as possible.
I went to put a couple of people into a hotel last night, and they have a security guard at the hotel, and they said, "Oh, we're so sorry. The entire hotel has been booked for federal employees." And I was like, no, I have people that would just pull it out of a mountain that are living out in the hills, and there's not a place for me to put them because we have federal employees that are staying in the hotel. I slept in this white car last night.
The servants are in the cars and the government workers are in a hotel. I don't have that big of a problem, but I'm saying FEMA should be they should be taking in roommates. Why are we supposed to take in illegals in all these cities where there's no room for them? But FEMA can't share a hotel room with a family that they just pulled out of a mountain and are covered in mud.
I smell like foot and death right now, as does every single person on our team. Not a single one of us slept. We got done maybe at 3 o'clock. The moment the sun was up and we could fly helicopters again, we were back in the air, and we have not stopped. And I was like on the fence about trying to get on this program or not. I want people to understand how incredible this organization is, Save Our Allies, and all the work that all of these volunteers are doing. But people, this is biblical level devastation. This is apocalyptic, the things that we see out there.
SaveOurAllies.org. That's SaveOurAllies.org. Number one, you can give money to SaveOurAllies.org, and it'll go to these pilots to help them run missions. Number two is if you're stuck in the mountains and you need help, it's also has an emergency line where you can call in and get help. SaveOurAllies.org.
These are towns up in the mountains that are 10, 20, 40 miles away from any other town. And people on the ground like you need helicopters from the government, and they will not release them. I have heard that time and again. And the people who are delivering aid up in the mountains are now getting requests for body bags.
Yeah, this is going from a rescue mission to a recovery mission. This happens when the government screws up so bad. Continue to pray for these survivors. Pray that FEMA and Kamala Harris and Biden stay the hell out of the way. I'm John Mike Keane.